Alright, what's going on? Back with another video. I want to give you guys this new banger. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe because I will be having more bangers coming out shortly. Coming out for summer, it's hot, so I will have more videos coming. Trust. So let's get started right to the video. Also, follow me on Snapchat. My Snapchat will be somewhere around the screen. So follow me on Snapchat if you want to ask me questions. You'll get your questions answered. All that good stuff. But I really want to get straight into the video, man. I got a fresh 180 wave cut. I got a bald fade, bald on the back, so I pretty much skin fade on here, and then on the top kept it wavy. I believe the top was like around like a 2.5, maybe like a 2. Nah, I probably wouldn't say it was like a 3, 2.5, 3. So that's generally where I go for it when I get the top cut. And one thing too, you guys want to note is make sure after you get a fresh cut, you want to get a nice soft brush. That's an Annie brush, by the way, if you were wondering. But okay, so let's get into the question that I received on Snapchat. So basically, I got a question from Debril Harris. I believe I'm saying your name correctly. And basically what he was saying is how to fix crooked waves, like your waves are crooked. So that does happen if you have 180 waves. Not only that doesn't only happen with 360s or 540s, it does happen with 180s, and that is a big pivotal point in 180 waves, is just making sure that they're aligned perfectly. So in this video, I'm just going to just tell you like what I do, like what's the best way to do it, what's the best way to fix it if you do have it. And yeah, so it does take work. That's one thing I want to tell you too. One of the main things it's going to take is consistency. And one of the main things I also recommend you do is to brush for 1 hour. I would say like get a timer, saying if you want to listen to music or if you want to brush like mirror brush, that's the best way to do it. That's going to help straighten your waves out. A lot of times when you aren't mirror brushing or you aren't putting hours worth of work of brushing in your hair, you're not going to get it to align. It's going to be your waves are going to be scattered. You're going to have forks. And regardless if you do have forks, that's still progress. Another thing too, I do use olive oil just to moisturize my scalp and then moisturize my hair as well. So olive oil is a good alternative than coconut oil, because coconut oil can sometimes dry your hair out. So I recommend olive oil. That's a more universal product for all hair types. But yeah, man, I just pretty much stay consistent. And then I mirror brush. Like if I feel like I'm having more forks than normal, or my hair isn't as defined, or if it isn't as lined up as I would want to, or aligned, I put in that work, man. I put in that work in mirror brushing. I'm in front of the mirror. I get a handheld mirror. I get my Annie soft brush, or depending on the hair type I have at that moment, hard or soft, and I just get to work. I brush for like an hour. Consistent brush strokes. I make sure I get from the back of my head to the front of my head. I don't want to just blind brush. That's the worst thing you can do when you're trying to work on your connections on that. So, but just know if you are struggling with that, you still have waves. So just look at it that way, but just put a little bit more time in there, because you're so close to having flawless 180 waves, and it's gonna look nice when you get a cut every time. But just put more brush work in. Brush work is the key to it. And then this is also an Annie, as I said before. This Annie brush was around, I want to say it was like $2.99, probably like $3 around there, at like your local beauty supply store. Pretty cheap brush, but it gets the job done, and you need a soft brush. The next thing I really want to get into is having the variations of brushes. You want to make sure you have a hard, medium, and soft brush. So generally throughout my videos, you'll see me use either my Torino Pro, or you'll see me use my Annie, which is a soft brush. My Torino Pro is a hard brush, by the way. Or you'll see me use my Diane. My Diane is a medium, and I have to have all those three. And the reason why I recommend you have all those three is because your hair changes at different stages. So your hair length determines what type of brush you use. So if you're new, you just got a fresh cut, I recommend a soft brush. And then when you grow more hair, you want to go with a more tougher brush so you get a better pull on your waves, and it's just more consistent, it's more defined, and it's going to give you that look that you want. So just make sure you pay attention to that. I know a lot of times people are just like, I don't see the big deal of having like all brushes, or I don't want to spend the money on the brushes, I don't have the money for the brushes. So just slowly start off with I would say a soft brush, and then work your way up. But you really want to make sure you have at least three. But when I first started, I think I had because I'm a medium hair, I had like a harder brush. But when I got my hair cut, it was too tough. So that's what I'm saying. You gotta have those that variation so you can get a more accurate pull. The next thing I really wanted to talk about was mirror brushing. So a lot of times you may mirror brush, and you may go for a session, but you're not brushing the way that's going to be helpful to your waves. And that's going to be with everyone. So when you're first starting out, you may brush in like a wild pattern, or your unique pattern that is most comfortable to you. But what you really want to do is kind of like watch to where and see if your brushing is overlapping, or is ruining your waves, or making your waves worse. So for me, sometimes I'll struggle with that because I'll kind of be all over the place, or I just want to hurry up and get the brushing done. But if you want those perfect connections and those to fix the crooks in your hair, you got to take your time. You want to make sure you take your time and you're slowing down your brush strokes so you can get, become elite on the 180 waves. And it is really worth it. I'm telling you, it's really, really, really worth it. And you're going to be happy with the results when you just, slow down and take your time. Another quick tip that I can really, really tell you is going to help you out a ton is learning to brush for longer periods of time, but also more accurate periods of time. So sometimes when you're during a brush session, you may not be too worried, or you may try to rush and hurry up and do a brush session, and you're like, okay, I did this amount, so I'm fine. What you want to do is make sure you're accurately brushing, and then you're brushing and paying attention to what you're doing. Like, do not rush, do not kind of cut corners, because it's going to show in your waves like later on when you take off your do-rag. So definitely keep in mind on that. Then you also want to use a good pomade. This is a pomade. This is my Sporting Waves Gold. It's always what I use. After a good brush session, I use always gold, and this is the gold. This is the best you can get. I'm telling you. But yeah, man, just be focused on your brushing. And then sometimes I see like my younger subscribers kind of brushing kind of wild. You gotta make sure you're brushing control. You have to have control. So make sure you're controlling your brushing. You're slowing down. You're just being focused, because it's really, really important. So the next thing too, I would say to you, is to not have dry waves. One thing that will ruin your connections is if your hair is either over curled, so it may have too much product in it, or it's under moisturized, which means it's too dry to connect. So how you combat that is you want to make sure you get a fresh cut, and you work with your waves from your fresh cut until your wolf. So you want to make sure you don't miss any days on your brushing, you don't miss any days on your do-rag, and you're staying consistent, because that's important. So just make sure, when you're going through the process, you're consistent. You don't want to skip a day, you don't want to miss a day, because your waves will change and you'll have to start over kind of on the top, And so, this is important. Just be mindful, be focused, and stay motivated too. Don't give up, and start again, give up and start again. Just stay consistent, stay with it, and you got this, because once you get the progress, it's downhill from there. You're always going to know what you need to do in order to get better and progress. So you just want to always do better than your last cut. That's what I recommend you. So I think that's pretty much it. I think that's one more tip I can probably tell you would be to also, rag up. That's probably the simple thing. I kind of left this for the end of the video. It's just to make sure you're using, I would say, a silky. That's what I prefer. You don't have to use a silky necessarily, but that's for my progress. That's what I just use a silky, and I lay down my hair every day. So make sure you're laying down your hair. Make sure you're using 3 brushes, and you're good, man. And that's the end of the video. Just want to give you guys this gem, some good tips. And yeah, I'm out. I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much. And make sure you like the video if you like the video. I'm out.